Gee, it must be Monday. And it is. My calendar wouldn't lie to me. It's the 17th day of October 2022. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz. Thanks for starting your day with us. Here we go, and starting your week with us as well. Not a bad start. We can actually see Birch Mountain from behind me, which has not been the case. Interesting weekend weather, wasn't it? Had the skies got scoured out. It was a beautiful day on a Sunday. Saturday wasn't too bad either. All the smoke went over to the Puget Sound part of our state and hung around there. They had some really bad air in the Puget Sound area. The wind blew from east to west. Doesn't happen too often. Now it's not blowing at all. The high pressure ridge is still here. It's going to be hanging around through Thursday and into the early hours of Friday before finally that stubborn high pressure ridge is going to finally break down, flatten out, and that means autumn is going to come very rapidly. On Friday night and into Saturday, we're going to get some much-needed rain. The temperatures are going to take a nosedive. And this unseasonably warm stretch of weather, almost record-breaking in its length and in its intensity, is almost over with. 58 is where we're at on the AQI scale. That is moderate, but unfortunately, as you can see behind me, we're going to deal with the situation again. Fires continue to smolder above the Lake Wenatchee area. Relative humidity in the overnight hours has been very dry, so the fires haven't had a chance to damper down a little bit. They'll pick back up again. We're going to be at or near record high temperatures again for most of this week, but then again, the changes are coming. Looking forward to that. Details are coming. I'm ready for autumn. I don't know about you. In news, we will do that. In sports, Huskies won. And that was about it. Well, no, Seahawks won, too. And, of course, the Mariners lost a game on Saturday afternoon that just ended about 15 minutes ago. We'll have highlights of that on a very busy sports weekend. And speaking of sports, we've been profiling some of the improvements that are going to be made to the Eastmont area schools and campuses and facilities if the bond issue passes on November 8th. They're asking for a $185 million bond. And today we're visiting with Russ Waterman, the athletic director for the Eastmont School District. Some of the schools need some athletic facility upgrades. At Eastmont High School proper, their athletic facilities are in desperate need of some upgrading. It's kind of the same stuff they've been having since they built it in the late 70s, and they need some help. So Russ will talk about some of the improvements that are in slate for the Eastmont High School athletic facilities if this bond passes. Russ in the back half of the program. It is 46 degrees, so it's a little cool, but it's where it should be. Let's start our tour around north central Washington, and you'll see the smoke and the haze from the cross. Here we go again, but at least you can see Birch Mountain, and we couldn't do that on Friday or even Thursday. Of course, the Wenatchee High School football game had to be moved to Quincy because the air was really bad. It never got good enough to play, by the way. They were thinking about maybe delaying the kickoff to later on in the evening. It never got playable. We never got below like 160, and at one point we were just really bad air on Friday. It was much better on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday's high was 75. Sunday's high and low was 74 and 46. Normally it were 61, so you can count them up 25 days in a row now with our afternoon high temperature above normal, and we mean a bunch above normal. I mean, that's crazy. 75 high temperature when we're supposed to only get to 61. We haven't seen this ever, as far back as records go, quite frankly. But again, it's that high pressure ridge is going to break down. Fall will be coming in a big way this weekend, and I say bring it on. Camera 2. Smoky and hazy up the Waterville camera, looking right back down towards the Wenatchee Valley. I'm pretty sure that's Waterville. That's the Columbia River. Way off in the distance is the Clocken and Mission Ridge, and you can see the smoke and the haze hovering just over the Wenatchee Valley floor. You can kind of make out Wenatchee a little bit from the distance. That's the Waterville camera, so that's over a mile high in elevation, and then, of course, it's a tower, and then a camera on top of the tower. It's up there a ways. Good morning to the Columbia River as we look back down towards Wenatchee, Washington, camera 3. Yikes, that's got to be Lake Wenatchee. They've been suffering so bad up there. These fires broke out on August 11th. August 11th is when the Irving Peak and White River fires broke out, caused by lightning, and they have combined. The two fires are now just one fire. Still about 15,000 acres. The fire is contained. They're just letting it burn out in the interior part of it. But, of course, it's very dense forest. It's just not, I mean, you can't take a helicopter and dip water out of the lake when you can't see the lake. Good morning to Lake Wenatchee. I feel sorry for you folks up there. It just doesn't go away, does it? Camera 4. Well, there you go. There's blue I'm liking that. Union Valley, Captain? That's up to Lake Chelan we go. That's a huge world of difference. In fact, let me look right now. Chelan, you're at 38, which is good. Again, in Wenatchee, 58. Leavenworth, 72. Cashmere, 76. Leading the way again, Beshaston, 148. Cascade High School was supposed to play their homecoming Friday night at the football field on the river. They didn't because the air was unfit to breathe. But boy, it looks awfully pretty up there at Lake Chelan. Changes are coming, finally. That strong upper ridge that's just been hanging and hanging and hanging and hanging is still going to hang around today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and into Thursday. And then it's finally going to break down, and here comes autumn. Temperatures are going to just drop, and I mean they're going to really drop. We're going to go from 77 on Thursday to 61 on Friday to the 50s on Saturday. It's going to start feeling like autumn, and the most important thing of all, rain. Friday afternoon, Friday night, spilling into Saturday morning. We got a better than 50-50 chance of rain on Friday night. You can't ask for a better forecast if you're sick and tired of the fires and the smoke and the haze, and I, for one, am sick and tired of the fires and the smoke and the haze. Relief is finally coming, but we're still going to deal with some pretty bad air, smoke, and haze for the balance of this week, at least through Wednesday night. It'll start getting a little bit better on Thursday, then considerably better come Friday. From the National Weather Service, here we go. Another day of 74 degrees, close to a record high, not quite there. We have a chance of a record high on Thursday of 77 degrees. That could be a record high. We're going to be getting awfully close to it today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Mid-70s, unseasonably warm. 14, 15 degrees above normal for our afternoon highs. And then, of course, as you can see, by Friday afternoon, here comes the system. And we say yes. We're going to go from 77 to 61 to 57. Rain Friday night into Saturday. 60% chance of rain Friday night into Saturday and spilling into Saturday morning, which, by the way, is Make a Difference Day as well. And so here comes autumn. Dramatic changes in the weather. Well, actually not that dramatic. It's just that we've been stuck in this pattern for almost a month. It's just going to seem more dramatic. But it looks like October is going to finally feel like October by the end of the week. It's 8 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break, and then we'll come back with your headlines on this Monday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
I'm Kim Schreier, and I approve this message.
Dangerous. That's how voters describe this out-of-touch politician, Matt Larkin. Because Larkin said he'd cut veterans' health care and supports a national ban on abortion, overturning protections here in Washington and putting women's lives at risk. Larkin even said he, quote, aligns with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and said, quote, this isn't the time for moderation. That's Matt Larkin, the definition of dangerous.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
Beautiful shot up Lake Chelan way, but as you can see behind my shoulder, it ain't so pretty down here. 46 degrees, smoky and hazy. Going to be smoky and hazy today and on Tuesday and on Wednesday. Probably a little nicer on Thursday. Autumn comes in a rather quick way on Friday. It's 9 minutes after the hour. That East Wenatchee man who phoned in a bomb threat to the Chelan County Courthouse so we wouldn't have to go to court, well, he's been sentenced to almost 6 years in prison. 35-year-old Nicholas Henry Folker pled guilty to one count of making a bomb threat, plus the original charge of fourth-degree assault. That's what he was summoned to court for. He phoned in the bomb threat back on June 15th. He's been in jail ever since. His plea allowed him to avoid a charge that he made a second bomb threat while he was in jail. Judge Travis Brandt sentenced Fulcher on Wednesday to 70 months in prison. They didn't have a debate. They didn't even have a discussion. But the Wenatchee City Council on Thursday night adopted new laws to remove parked recreational vehicles from city streets. Officials say RVs have become a nuisance in the city, particularly those used as shelter by homeless motorists. The two new ordinances prohibit on-street parking of RVs unless they're being loaded or unloaded, and it grants the authority to the city to tow away any derelict vehicles. The city has helped finance Wenatchee Rescue Mission's Safe Park Initiative, which provides space and services for unhoused motorists for up to 120 days. Speaking of Wenatchee City Council, they have committed almost $1.8 million to help preserve the city pool. That's down from the $2.1 million that the city balked at paying back in August. The AG facility needs a new liner and the circulation system as well, because it has a tendency to leak. It's also suffered boiler problems that briefly closed the pool this summer. City Council members accepted the repair bid on Thursday night.
We ended up rebidding the project through September and October, opened the bids on October 3rd, and received one bid. The same bidder that bid the last time. This time the bidding was more favorable. So the staff estimate for this project was $1.6 million. The bid came in at $1.79 million. One thing I should mention, that's for the base bid. Base bid is changing out the liner and the circulation system underneath the pool itself. So that's kind of, if you picture the pool, it's pretty much everything within the footprint of the pool. Then we have two different alternates. The first alternate is to line the pipe that runs from the pool to the mechanical room itself. So there's a span of maybe 25 feet that runs from the pool building to under the pool deck into the mechanical room where all the filters and all that stuff happens. The second alternate item is to jackhammer out the pool deck, dig a hole, and replace the pipe that way. We could be looking at either just the base bid if the pipe is pristine and perfect. Alternate one, where we would line that pipe with a PVC liner, not have to dig the pool deck up. Or alternate two, if the pipe is really bad and we can't get it with the liner, then we would dig up the pool deck and replace the line that way. That way, then we're good from the mechanical room all the way into the pool and the whole pool circulation system. With your approval, construction would begin July 31st of next year and extend all the way into October.
This is fine for the 10 years, but there is some excitement about the council, on that council, about so like an aquatic, more of a bigger project for everybody to contribute to. And so we'll need to encourage the cities around us and the counties to come up with a plan. I am going to vote yes to this, but I will not vote again to have this in the city. It's really needs to be a regional event, regional money, a regional place to have it for our future.
Voters in the Eastmont School District will decide on a $185 million bond that would help improve the facilities at a number of schools, including safety upgrades. I had a chance last week to visit with Dr. Becky Berg, who's the superintendent of the Eastmont School District. We visited at both Lee and Cascade Elementary Schools to talk about the project.
First of all, we're very thankful for the voters in Eastmont who've done their level best to keep our schools progressive and efficient. But we're now at the point where some of our schools, Lee was built in 1957, so we're dealing with a core of the school whose HVAC, whose pieces and parts we can't find anymore. So it's time. It's also time to look at security through a different lens, sadly. But when this was built in 1957, you could have outdoor hallways. You could have exterior doors, which I think there's over 30 here. We look at schools a little differently now. This bond, if it should pass, will be able to remove all of our portables in the Eastmont School District. We'll do it Eastmont style. We won't go over the top. We like to say we will not be building glass palaces. We'll be building very functional schools. I loved coming into our new cafeterias and seeing the good old linoleum floors that we had growing up instead of terrazzo marble or anything like that. So as we've been quoted saying in the paper, we're building Fords, not Ferraris, and we're very comfortable with that. What our parents and grandparents paid forward for us, whether it's an aging part of this school, a newer part of this school, is really that civic spirit. People may decide to vote yes or may decide to vote no, but we're always thinking at least a generation ahead as we prepare kids for the future.
Finally, on this Monday, the Wenatchee School Board has selected the search firm that will begin the process of picking a new superintendent for the Wenatchee School District. McPherson Jacobson of Omaha won the nod at Tuesday's board meeting over Washington-based Northwest Leadership Associates. That's the same firm that netted former Superintendent Paul Gordon, who left the district this spring after serving for 3 years. McPherson Jacobson will now advertise widely to recruit the new district leader. In the meantime, Bill Eagle is serving the Wenatchee School District as the interim superintendent. That's what's making news in just about 16 minutes after the hour. We will be right back at it to get your Monday going with the latest news and information from around North Central Washington and the Wenatchee Valley, and sports with Eric Granstrom with the preview. Here's Grant Olson.
Good Monday morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, unseasonably warm and sunny weather is expected through Thursday this week, and then big weather changes moving in on Friday. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom has a wrap on the Mariners-Astros series from over the weekend, and a look at area high school sports and the Seahawks game yesterday against Arizona. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. And don't forget, if you got a news tip, we'd love to hear from you. We've gotten some news stories because you folks are paying attention, and it's always good. Get a hold of us. Go to our Facebook page and use the Messenger app. You can email us directly at the address that you see on your screen, news@ncwlife.com, or go to our homepage, ncwlife.com. You can get a hold of us that way as well. 17 minutes after the hour, the Mariners' first home playoff game in 21 years didn't go as planned on Saturday. Details are coming up with sports. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
ColorFX has moved their shop to a larger location to expand their services, including adding in a state-of-the-art large format printer. They got it. You need banners? They got them. You need vinyl decals for your cars, trucks, vans, or trailers in just about any size? Yeah, they got it. ColorFX has also been providing fun swag and clothing for local churches and high schools around our valley for decades. Support your local print shop. Call ColorFX in Cashmere today. Sports, 47,690 folks showed up to see the first Mariner home playoff game in 21 seasons. They played 18 innings before it was all said and done, and as you know by now, didn't quite turn out the way the Mariner fans wanted. Jeremy Pena's leadoff home run at the top of the 18th was the game winner. Houston 1, Seattle 0. Houston sweeps the best of 5 American League Division Series.
Third time through, it's Altuve. Breaks his bat. Little jam shot, and France is right there to make the catch. Oh, he tagged him for the out. It's a double play. Maldonado is saying he forced him off the bag.
I think his left foot was off the bag, and I think he had tagged him. You see Dusty. Dusty's not challenging this. He's coming out to argue interference. Oh, yeah, look at that. See, his foot's not on.
What a heads-up play by Ty France.
I guarantee you they're not excited, the analytical people, BA, about Altuve seeing him for a fourth time.
And he got him! A swing and a miss for the strikeout to end the inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Down he goes! Cheddar cheese for his second consecutive strikeout.
It's just another, almost the exact same pitch. 101, tailing up, away, and blows it right past Alvarez. Wow.
World class. Bills in motion now. Astros have runners at second and third. Gurriel carries the go-ahead run. Scoreless game, Frenchie, and Matt Brash is on the pitch.
Well, he's going for the strikeout right here.
Deals, and a swing and a miss. A strikeout for out number 2. Bregman and Tucker aboard. First pitch to Gurriel in the air, right center field, hit pretty well. Rodriguez on the run, and Rodriguez makes a great catch. Bregman will tag and go to third. Oh my goodness. The ground he covered, off the charts. Julio Rodriguez kicking it into fifth gear to make this play. Jeremy Pena will lead off for the Astros here. 3-2 pitch. In the air, deep left center field, hit well. Rodriguez on the run, and it is gone! Oh, Jeremy Pena sends one to the seats, and the Astros lead 1-0 in the 18th inning. This kid is the real deal himself. Now the Astros an out away from punching a ticket again to the ALCS. Could end right here. Garcia deals. That ball's hit well to center, but right there. And Dubon puts it away, and the Houston Astros survive.
Carlos Santana, the only Mariner to manage more than one hit, and he only got 2. 18 pitchers, 42 strikeouts, 18 innings. Manager Scott Service says he's proud of his club, and he says this series will benefit the Mariners in the future.
You know, we're right there. You look at the whole series, it comes down to 3 swings of the bat. Certainly Jordan got us a couple times in Houston, and Pena with a big one tonight. But some kind of pitching performance on both sides. Really, offense was hard to come by, obviously. Hits, base runners, anything. I thought our pitching was just off the chart, starting with George Kirby. To fire him out in a must-win game, and you get 7 shutout innings out of a rookie against that club. You can't ask for any more. I thought he was outstanding, commanded, was in total control. Great experience. The number of young players that played huge roles for us in this series, it is going to benefit us just immensely going forward. And, I talked to the team a little bit about after with the game. And one thing about this team, and, I've said it all year long, it is the epitome of team. These guys really do. They care for each other. It's a brotherhood in that clubhouse, and it is something that's going to serve us well and certainly serve our core, all the players well going forward. As we took a huge step as an organization this season. So I go on and on. That was a long game. There's a lot to unpack. But, again, thank you to the fans that were there tonight and just leaving it all out there in support of us.
The Astros are going to the American League Championship Series for the 6th year in a row. Don't know who they're going to play yet, though. Yankees and Guardians will do their 5th and deciding game tonight in the Bronx. The Guardians come from behind with a win on Saturday. Yankees win yesterday. And today's game is on TBS, and yes, I will be watching. It'll be the Phillies and the Padres for the National League Championship Series. The Phillies knocked off Atlanta 8-3 on Saturday. They win the series 2-1, and the Padres advance with a 5-3 decision over the Dodgers in Game 4 on Saturday. Game 1 of the National League Championship Series begins tomorrow in San Diego, 5:03 on FS1. How did we do over the weekend for our local college football teams? Well, the Huskies won. That's about it. Michael Penix Jr. threw for 516 yards and 4 touchdowns. They beat Arizona at the stadium, 49-39. Oregon State rushed for 203 yards. The Cougars look kind of punky. They've now lost 3 of their last 4. Cougars, short end of the stick there, 24-10. Sacramento State rushing for 385 yards. The Hornets demolished Eastern Washington 52-28. Central Washington's defense, though, held Midwestern State scoreless in the second half. Wildcats win their homecoming 17-10. Seattle Kraken fell to 1-2 in the NHL season. They lost to Vegas at home 5-2. On Saturday, the Golden Knights raced out to a 5-0 lead before Seattle got off the schneid in the third period. Justin Schultz and Jaden Schwartz scored. Kraken are back on the ice tonight, 7 o'clock against Carolina at Climate Pledge Arena on Root Sports Northwest. Speaking of hockey, the Wenatchee Wild are in Chilliwack for the next couple of nights as the BCHL Showcase. They lost on the road at West Kelowna 5-2 on Friday. They'll take on Langley tonight, and then the Chiefs tomorrow at 7. The Wild finally return to the Town Toyota Center. Their first 2 games at home are this Friday and Saturday against West Kelowna and then Penticton. Tickets are available at WenatcheeWildHockey.com. High school football on Friday, a milestone for Wenatchee head football coach Scott Devereaux, his 100th career win. As head coach of the Panthers, they beat Davis 43-0 in homecoming. They had to move the game to Quincy because the air quality here was not good. Wenatchee rushed for 5 touchdowns on the night, and they had a pick 6. They're 2-2 now in league play. Moses Lake built a 14-12 halftime lead, held on to beat Sunnyside 21-19. Grizzlies scored with under 3 minutes to play to narrow the gap to 2, but then the Mavericks were able to run out the clock. West Valley beat Eisenhower 38-0, and Eastmont's game of Skyline Saturday canceled. They couldn't find any place where they could play where the air quality would allow them to play. OMAC claimed the regular season Caribou Trail League title. They beat Kashmir 33-15. The Pioneers improved to 3-0 league play when there was only one league game remaining, so they can't blow it. Kashmir dropped to 1-1. It's a three-way tie now with Kashmir, Cascade, and Chelan. Chelan won their homecoming game over Quincy Friday night, 38-14. And Cascade's homecoming game couldn't play it against Coupeville. Air too dirty in Peshastin. Ephrata picked up a win in Central Washington Athletic Conference play, 47-10 over Grandview. Zilla won a non-league game over Sela. Othello continued its winning ways all over Ellensburg. That win, by the way, from Othello ensures that the Huskies win the regular season CWAC title. Central Washington B-League play on Friday night. Tenasket tumbled to Orville 69-0. Libertyville beat Bridgeport 70-30. Wow. Okanagan 7-0. They beat everybody 42-7 now over Lake Roosevelt. Antioch stopped Soap Lake 76-14. Les Schwab Prep Girls Soccer scoreboard from Saturday. Eisenhower shut out Eastmont. Moses Lake socked Sunnyside. Freeman over Quincy. Okanagan and Reardon's game couldn't play. Davenport and Tenasket played to a 2-2 tie. Volleyball on Saturday. Cascade swept Natchez Valley. Kashmir did the same thing to the Rangers. That's right, they played twice. They were probably pretty tired. Brewster beat OMAC, and Reardon topped Tenasket. A couple of matches on tap tonight. Pateros will host Cascade Christian, and then Chelan will be at Cascade. And the Seahawks defense looked pretty darn good. They sacked Kyler Murray 6 times. Tariq Woolen came up with his 4th interception in his last 4 games. Seahawks improved to 3-3 by beating Arizona.
It's really a satisfying win in terms of playing all together. Everybody doing their part. With the exception of the punt block, it was really a good ball game for us in a lot of ways, and the balance was there, and kind of responded to the situations. We gave up that one, and then our offense came right back, went 75 yards and scored, and answered those points that went on the board for them. Really happy with the whole group on defense. They've been fighting their tails off to get it done and to try to get to a point where they feel like they're really doing something. And the pass rush just came to life today, and the guys were all over the quarterback. So really rewarding in that regard. It's a big deal to get a win today. Everybody in the division is the same, so we're starting all over again. And so you could look at it a lot of ways. I'm looking at it like we're in first place, and fired up to have, after we've been through what we've been through, to be in that position. Feel fortunate.
Geno Smith was 20 of 31, 197 yards. Kenneth Walker III rushed for 97 yards. He had a touchdown. Seattle will be in Los Angeles Sunday to take on the Chargers. 125 on Fox. San Francisco, the 40 Winers, dropped to 3-3 with a 28-14 loss to Atlanta. The Rams got back to the 500 mark. They beat Carolina 24-10, and those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Monday, the 17th day of October. As we go into the Obscura holiday, full disclosure, I didn't do it until this morning. Now, most of the show, I don't know if you noticed or not, I prepared the show the day before. There's certain things you can't prepare the day before, like news and weather and sports. You can't do that until you get to the morning itself. But I didn't even bother to do the Obscure Holiday until this morning. I apologize for that. I usually do my research. I will tell you, today is National Clean Up Your Virtual Desktop Day, Cal. Today is National Mulligan Day, National Edge Day, Wear Something Gaudy Day, but I thought we already did National Pasta Day. It turns out we did World Pasta Day about a month ago. Now it's National Pasta Day today. So enjoy some pasta. Apparently we don't even have a photo to show you of pasta. We'll move forward. By the way, the most popular pasta in the world, macaroni. Macaroni, number 1. Sorry, Captain. Enjoy your pasta. Sorry, I didn't do it till this morning. It's 29 minutes after the hour. This I did prepare last Friday, for instance. This is the anniversary of the Great London Beer Flood of 1814, 208 years ago today. A 22-foot tall vat full of beer broke open. When it broke open, it knocked over a couple more barrels in another vat, which also broke open. Eventually, about 300,000 gallons of beer broke out of the back wall of the brewery and washed into a very poor section of London, a slum called the St. Giles Rookery. And 8 people drowned in beer. 8 people killed by beer. Well, beer probably kills more than that anyway, but can you imagine that? How did Aunt Sally die? She drowned in beer. She didn't fall into a vat. The vat came and found her. The Great Beer Flood of 1814, 208 years ago today. The only reason I bring up this World Series is the 48th anniversary of the A's defeating the Dodgers in the first All-California World Series. They won the 5th game to win their 3rd consecutive World Championship. Only the A's and the Yankees, who have done it 3 times, are the only teams in Major League Baseball history to win 3 World Championships in a row. What makes this World Series interesting, the final scores of the 5 games were 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 5-2, and 3-2. They played 5 games. 4 of them ended with the exact same score 48 years ago today. 33 years ago today, I just gotten back home from work. I'm sitting down the television. I'm turning on ABC ready to watch the World Series between the Giants and the A's. And at about 4 minutes after 5 o'clock on the afternoon of Wednesday, October 17th, 1989, here's a mashup from ABC News I put together for you.
And home for the Giants, one of the most spectacular vistas on this continent, any continent. Downtown San Francisco in the background, and we zoom into Candlestick Park in the southeastern corner of this city. For the first time in 27 years, a World Series game will be played in Candlestick Park. The Battle of the Bay continues. Game 3 of the 1989 World Series, the Oakland Athletics against the San Francisco Giants.
Flash forward to the bottom of the 4th inning. Dave Parker barely by inches just misses a home run. Candy Maldonado with the hesitation, allowing Jose Canseco to score, and he fails to get Dave Parker at second base, so the Oakland A's take.
I'll tell you what, we're having an early.
We interrupt our regular program schedule to bring you a special report from ABC News.
Good evening, I'm Ted Koppel. Let me try and explain to you what must already be obvious to the millions of you who tuned in to watch the World Series tonight. Take a look at that live picture. That is from San Francisco. That fire presumably has been caused by an earthquake that knocked both the network broadcast of the World Series off the air and has been causing apparently some considerable damage in the San Francisco Bay Area.
This special report came to you from ABC News. We now resume our regular program schedule.
Preparations are proceeding now in San Francisco for resumed coverage of the game number 3 of the World Series. We will get back to it as soon as we possibly can. In the meantime, we will keep you informed of the situation.
I'm Ted Koppel. There has been a rather strong earthquake in Northern California, so strong, in fact, that it has, among other things, knocked out all the power, or much of the power, at Candlestick Park, where the 3rd game of the World Series was being played. But in the overall scheme of things, that may be the very least of things that has happened today. You can see some video there. I gather that's live video of Candlestick Park.
And we are feeling a shock right now, and that shaking in your picture is being amplified by the tremor that has just gone through the top of the stadium, and we are live. They're taking the bases off, 8:41 Eastern, 5:41, and we just felt it out here. We're at ground level, and now 6.5 Richter is what ABC is reporting this shock to be, and it is quite obvious now, that this is not it never has been a baseball story. It is much larger than the events going on at Candlestick.
63 people were killed, but it could have been a lot worse. A lot of folks went home early to watch the World Series between the Giants and the A's. The traffic was much lighter than it would normally be at 5 o'clock in the Bay Area. That actually saved people's lives, the fact that they had a baseball game scheduled. And finally, this is the 30th anniversary of Yoshihiro Hattori, who was a Japanese exchange student living in Baton Rouge with an American family. And on the evening of October 17th, 1992, Yoshihiro Hattori and his friend, his roommate, the people who he lived with, he and his same age they were invited to a Halloween party in Baton Rouge, and they went to the wrong house. Looked just like the house they were supposed to go, but they didn't really know where they were supposed to go. They went up to the front door. They knocked on the front door. Nobody answered. They walked around the house. Said, "Where's the party?" Rodney Piers, the owner of the house that they accidentally went to, shot and killed Yoshihiro Hattori. He died instantly. The folks in Japan went, this happens in America? Because, of course, in Japan, gun violence is almost unheard of. Piers was questioned by the Baton Rouge Police Department. They released him. He was eventually charged with manslaughter, and he was acquitted 30 years ago today. And finally, birthdays. The last pope who was Italian. Pope John Paul I, a forgotten pope now. Pope John Paul VI died in October, and they elected Pope John Paul I, Italian, like they all were for centuries. And then, of course, just 30 days into his papacy, he died, replaced by John Paul II, who lasted a lot longer, Pope John Paul I. People forget about him. So far, the last Italian pope. The three popes that succeeded him were Polish, German, and from Argentina. Don Coryell. Don Coryell invented the power I, which is a common football formation. He invented the power I here in Wenatchee when he was the head football coach at Wenatchee Valley College in 1955. He took over a team that didn't win a single game in 1954, instituted the power I, and they went undefeated, and then they lost the Potato Bowl, which was the equivalency of the Rose Bowl for junior college. He spent just 1 year at Wenatchee Valley College, but he revolutionized football, the great Don Coryell, born in the state in 1924. We lost Don 10 years ago at the age of 85. The saga of Janine Paul Marie Deckers, known to one and all as the Singing Nun. She was a nun, and in 1963, her song Dominique topped the Billboard Hot 100, but she was a nun who lived where nuns live, and she didn't get any money. The sisters got the money, millions of dollars in record sales and royalties. She didn't get anything. She eventually fell into poverty, and the Singing Nun took her own life in 1985 at the age of 51 because she said, I got no money. They can give me anything. Sad story. Evel Knievel, born in the state in 1938, died in 2007 at the age of 69. Northwest Connections, of course. Evel Knievel, for a while, lived down in the Columbia Basin. Lived in Moses Lake. Happy birthday, Evel Knievel. We miss him. Gary Puckett, one half of the Union Gap. Gary Puckett has a unique claim to fame. He and Bob Dylan and Roger Maris were all born in Hibbing, Minnesota, right around the same time. Gary Puckett and the Union Gap, because Gary Puckett spent most of his childhood in Yakima. Gary Puckett is 80 years old today. The good captain's favorite comedian, and in my opinion, the best anchor that the Weekend Update ever had for Saturday Night Live, Norm Macdonald, born in the state in 1959. We lost Norm last year of cancer at the age of 61. And Mike Judge, the guy who created and voiced not only Beavis and Butthead, but he also created King of the Hill. He's the voice of Hank Hill. Mike Judge, a very funny guy, is 60 years old today. 38 minutes after the hour, going to take a break. Got an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and we're going to talk to Russ Waterman, the athletic director for the Eastmont School District, about some of the improvements that the Eastmont High School athletic facilities would get if the $185 million bond passes on November 8th. Russ will be my guest when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel. Did you know people 65 or older make up 12% of the U.S. population but consume 34% of all prescription drugs? Protect yourself and your aged loved ones from prescription errors. Always read labels carefully to avoid mistakes. Ask your pharmacist if over-the-counter medicines conflict with your prescriptions, and never skip doses or take more than is prescribed. This message sponsored by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington. Call 1-800-572-4459 for prescription assistance.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in East Wenatchee, a place for the entire family. Open daily for lunch and dinner. We use only the finest ingredients, prepared fresh when you order. The full menu includes your choice of over 20 gourmet beef or chicken burgers. And catch your favorite game in their full-service lounge while sipping on an ice-cold beer. Bob's Burgers and Brew, fast, friendly service. We will see you there.
Scare Crazy in Kashmir. It's a spooktacular good time all month long in Kashmir. Scarecrows will be waiting for you throughout the town. Silly ones, spooky ones, and everything in between. Yeah, it's Scare Crazy in Kashmir. Bring the family and find the scarecrows all around Kashmir, and be sure to thank these fine sponsors. Doan's Valley Pharmacy. Enjoy a treat at their old-fashioned soda fountain. Get coverage you can trust from Bruce Cheadle, your State Farm agent. Green Motion e-bikes have rolled out the new line of custom e-bikes. They have three-way adjustable folding e-bikes and full-size mountain e-bikes. Pedal assist and a throttle makes them a perfect fit for any rider. Green Motion e-bikes, located in the Mills Brothers building. Hello, television family. Grab your cup of coffee each weekday morning and join me. I'm Dan Kuntz, the host of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's everything you need to start your day. We're live and we're local at 7 a.m. every weekday on the NCW Life Channel.
We were in Roseburg in the early 80s. Our oldest son, Dan, was a defensive back, a starter on that team. They in fact, became Oregon State champions, setting the first undefeated 14-0 season in Oregon's history. And our kids still talk about that. I go back now, too, and I think about all those great days and great times. The neat thing is that we can go back in today and still enjoy the same quality food that we enjoyed 50 years ago. That's legendary.
McNally, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I did an opinion piece here that was played on Wake Up Wenatchee, Dan Kuntz's show, that criticized ads for investment opportunities. And I mentioned that what I felt was the nonsense of running such an ad on the local radio station, KPQ. Now, Rosie, my wife, heard this and she said, "Oh, you're going to get in trouble." And I said, "With who? KPQ?" I said, "What's KPQ going to do? They're going to send Dave Bernstein to come beat me up?" Hey, Rosie laughed and I laughed, and that was the end of it. Well, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion. I mean, I think that's the end of it. You don't think they'll really do that, do you?
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
When Mike leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside. But we feel safer inside, knowing our home is being monitored by a local company. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere, so when we get home, I know it's safe.
Protect your family and save money with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to Guardian Services from LocalTel. Call Guardian Security from LocalTel now, or visit localtel.net to learn more.
You've got a lot to do today. While you're out and about, remember to dispose of your unused medications safely and anonymously. It's a simple act that makes your home a safer place. Next time you're at the pharmacy, just place them in the drop box. To find a location, visit medproject.org.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers one-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive, no nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Kashmir. Affordable care.
COVID-19 has impacted all of us. Being healthy today might mean something different to you, your neighbor, or your colleague.
My healthy is getting back into the gym and eating right.
Finding resources to help with my health.
A message from Chelan Douglas Health District.
Connect with us on Networked as we introduce you to the people and organizations who are leading innovation in the region. Get inspired, engaged, and networked right here on the NCW Life Channel.
Welcome back to the program, continuing our look at the $185 million school bond that will be up for the ballots for you folks who live in the Eastmont School District. Again, it needs a 60% supermajority on the November 8th election. We already had our conversations with Dr. Becky Berg, the superintendent of the Eastmont School District. Great lady. Love her to death. Hate to say it, but I love this guy a little bit more because Russ Waterman has been a very good friend of our television station over the years. And Russ is here specifically to talk about some of the upgrades to the athletic facilities that will be in the hopper if, in fact, this bond passes. Russ, first of all, thanks for taking time out and joining me. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Anytime I can get out in the campfire smoke and breathe it in, I'm good. So.
It's not so much the improvements that we need here at Wildcat Stadium, it's the deficiencies. A lot of the infrastructure that we're dealing with here at Eastmont High School at Wildcat Stadium is original to the construction of this field in the late 70s and early 80s, and it shows it.
Yeah. It's like when you buy a house, and over the course of the time you own that house, you've got to make repairs. Things get tired, things get old, and that's where we are currently. 10 years ago, when we remodeled the high school, the only adjustments we made out here, we took the jump pits that were on the inside. It was a hazard to play football. We moved those out so we could put soccer in here, deal with the Title IX issue, and have our girls soccer program play in the premier facility. And then we did an overlay on the track. And decades come, and the overlay, that's about the life expectancy of the overlay. So we really need to look at how we can make this back to a facility that is going to be lasting for another 10, 15, 20 years for people. So, yeah, one thing that we'll need to address is the track. The track's, it's worn out. It's failing. We can't do another overlay. The lighting, we've struggled with this year. We've just replaced on the west side all the baffles in there, and we're talking about baffles. We're not talking about LEDs. These are original lights. Yep. When we pulled them out, there's some baffles that were probably 40 years old. We got a good life expectancy out of them. But the bleachers on the visitor side, those are ancient. Those have been repaired several times with, where we can put the Band-Aid on here and there. And we'll have to address the surface that we're playing on now. The conversation will be natural grass versus synthetic sports turf. We don't know. We'll see what that's going to cost, what that is going to be for our use. It all has pros and cons. I mean, one of the things that we're thinking of is what can we do here so we can actually open up an access for our youth sports groups to get to our facilities. And so there's always that argument. But, we have that in mind of not just captive of Eastmont, but how do we get everybody in the community available to use our facilities, use our practice fields, use our game fields, and promote athletics into our youth. So there's a lot of projects there. When you go outside of the stadium, our tennis courts are failing. I mean, they just are, and they've been repaired several times. We've had them, the contractors come in with what they call gorilla tape and gorilla mesh, and then over top of that, but just the foundation has moved and it's shifted in the many years that it's been here. We have to deal with that, and we have to deal with our Title IX issue that one of our competitive teams does not have a facility to practice or play on here, and that's our girls softball program. The fourplex was a great idea when it was made. It was a needed thing for our campus. But it's not on campus, and they're the only group that is an organized team group that has to go off campus. Our golfers go off campus because I'm not sure we can put a golf course in here. I would like it. I'd be okay. We could put Eastmont Top Golf in here. We'd be good, but they go off campus. And that's about it. Our cross-country runners actually go off campus to get some run-outs and everything else, but everybody else is here, so that's a priority for us.
And it should be pointed out, and Becky mentioned this when we talked earlier, almost nothing here on the footprint of the Eastmont High School athletic facilities is ADA compliant. If you're confined to a wheelchair, you're really in trouble here.
Yeah, when you look at, we brought in a consultant this fall, Jay Hammis. He came in from Safe Sports Zone, and he looked at our facilities, and there were several things we had to do with traffic flow here in the stadium. It was just, walking over the surface of grass and tree roots is a hazard, so we had to change that, but you're spot on. We don't have anything that's ADA compliant. Right now, our answer to that is if somebody is coming in with a wheelchair patron, we bring them out onto the track and we put them in a safe position there, and that has its own drawbacks if the game were to spill out in that way. So we really need to address those issues that we have.
Is there a wish list? They say, hey, Russ, you got your not all the $185 million. They're not idiots. They're not going to give you all the money, Russ.
It's not Texas.
What would be your, if this passes, what would be your number one priority here on the athletic facilities at Eastmont High School? What tops the list in your mind?
right now it's going to be safety issues. Always going to be safety issues, whether it's the surface that we're playing on or the stands that our fans are in or the access, whatever it is. Those have to be addressed easily and foremost. And then after that, we need to look at what's going to last for, like I said, 15, 20 years. If we can get that to where, when I'm long gone, you're long gone, the next people that are coming in here, they realize that, they did a really good job on long-range planning. We don't have a lot to do in 15 to 20 years. So the stadium is a priority. Like I said, girls softball is a priority to make things. And then, again, access for our youth programs. Anything that we can do to allow them to come in and access our facilities, that's going to be a benefit to everybody.
And it should be pointed out that upgraded, modernized, and renovated facilities can be, in fact, a revenue source for your thing. We've seen that over in Wenatchee with what happened at Leave-Off the Field at the Apple Bowl. Jim Beeson has to turn down people who want to rent his facilities because they're so nice. The same thing can happen here.
Oh, yeah. The revenue stream isn't really the driving piece of this. I think when you look at if you have a synthetic field, so let's say if you talk about a wish list. So if we were able to take all of our playing surfaces and make them field turf, now you are opening it up for all of our youth community groups to host tournaments. So soccer tournaments, football tournaments, lacrosse, rugby, whatever the case might be. Back in the 80s that we hosted track meets here, state track meets here. We need to bring that back because once we bring those people in, then we're talking about all of our restaurants, our hotels, our stores. That's going to be a revenue source for them. So that's where my focus is here. The rental fees are rental fees, right? They're a burden and they're a revenue source, but the more we can do to bring into the community, that's the whole kind of thinking behind my logic.
One last thing before we cut you loose. The whole Eastmont athletic program as a whole is really doing well. I mean, academically, athletically, you got some coaches who really give a damn and who care for the kids. I got to see Coach Don, just observe him coach the kids, and he has that right balance of fun, and yet we have a task to do. And I've seen that with your volleyball coach and your basketball coaches. You got a great bunch of guys and gals here. Oh,
we're blessed. We're really blessed. And Eastmont's had a rich history of good coaches and good programs. And so this isn't really something new, but I think it's coming more to the forefront of when you look at how do we treat kids. I mean, honestly, it's got to go beyond the wins and losses. And again, we can only use the COVID crutch for a couple more months. I've told that to our coaches. We can't say, well, we're coming out of COVID. Yeah, okay, that's something that doesn't even matter anymore. But we got to address that social emotional learning of the kids and that mental health of the kids. And the more we can do on that aspect of it, the better off they're going to be. They're going to thrive. But no, we've been blessed that all of our coaches have had some success. And one of our first things that we talk about is relationships, lifelong relationships with your teammates, your coaches. Those are important. You're going to remember those a lot longer than you remember the scoreboard, guaranteed.
And I tell you one thing, from a behind-the-scenes television standpoint, it is a lot funner to come here on a Friday night and televise a game when these stands are full, and they have been lately with the success of the Eastmont football program, and the kids like that too. The kids love playing in front of an enthusiastic crowd with a lot of people here. That has been a huge game changer for you guys in the last 6-7 years.
Oh, I think so. I think it's become more of a staple again, where people are going to say, hey, let's go out and watch the football game, or even our soccer programs. Both soccer programs in the stadium get good crowds. If you go into our basketball games, we're getting good crowds. Volleyball gets good crowds. People want to come out and see something. I think that's a tribute to our coaching staff, and it's more of a tribute to our athletes we have that, they're paying attention, they're getting better, they're working, and they're competing, and we have a good product out there. We're very competitive in the league, right? It's a good league. It's a fair league. It's a travel league, obviously, and we do pretty good. So yeah, you're right.
Yep. Russ Waterman, the athletic director for the Eastmont School District. Go Cats! And I'm going to go out, and Russ can't say vote yes. He can't say vote no. I can. Vote yes. And let's give the first-class athletic program here the first-class facilities that the student athletes deserve, and you can be a part of that come November 8th. Russ, it's good to see you. Go Cats.
Yeah, go Cats.
You know it. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine in style at Highlander Bar and Grill, located in East Wenatchee. Highlander Golf Course has added 2 state-of-the-art full-swing simulators. Food and drink service is available from our full-service bar and grill, offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Indoor and outdoor seating available. Call Shalane, our on-site coordinator, to schedule your special event.
Did you know that nearly 50% of pet poisoning cases involve human medications and prescription drugs? Sometimes the culprit's a curious dog, but cats get into their share of trouble as well. Other times, pet owners mistakenly give their pets their own medications that are safe to people but toxic to their pets. Dr. Shauna Baez and her staff care about your pets. Go to pawsandclawsvh.com for a complete list of medications to avoid or call 888-PAWS.
Businesses and individuals have trusted the experienced professionals at Financial Alternatives for their retirement and investment needs for 40 years. They offer a broad range of investments, annuities, and insurance solutions for people and businesses throughout Washington. Financial Alternatives will assist you in making informed decisions for your future. Call Financial Alternatives today and meet with their advisors.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
You know, as the crow flies, it's not that far from Chelan to Wenatchee. We just saw a beautiful shot of Union Valley up in Chelan. Looks pretty nice there. Take a look at that, although if you look, that camera is facing south, so you can see, watch out for the bird there. It is facing south, so you can see the haze. That's over the Wenatchee Valley. Then you switch down here to the Wenatchee Valley, and it's smoky and hazy again after the winds. That's Lake Wenatchee. Ugh, I feel so sorry for those folks up there. It's just, the smoke has been permeating everything in the Lake Wenatchee area. That's from our Waterville camera looking back down towards the Wenatchee Valley, and there's the valley proper. So you can see it's cleared out a little bit now that the sun's come up, starting to get the job done. We can make out a little bit of Birch Mountain, which we couldn't do about an hour ago. But unfortunately, our air quality is going to head right back in the wrong direction. It was a beautiful weekend because the winds changed direction. They blew from east to west and sent all the smoke from the area of fires into the Puget Sound area. Now it's no wind at all, and we still have that strong upper ridge that just won't go away and won't go away until the weekend. Are you ready for autumn, which hasn't showed up yet? It's coming. It looks pretty good that this stubborn, and I'm going to call it stubborn, this ridge of high pressure, it just won't go away. It's finally going to break down on Friday, and that's going to allow a rather dramatic entrance of autumn. We're going to go from late summer to autumn in about 20 hours. I mean, that's how dramatic it's going to be. It's going to start in earnest, really, Thursday night. Friday, we're still going to have some sunshine, but our temperature is going to start dropping down to where they should be. Keep in mind, our normal afternoon high is 61, and as we look at the forecast from the National Weather Service, 61 is not even going to be close. We've gone 25 days in a row now with our afternoon high temperature well above normal. We're going to do it again today with some smoke and some haze. We're going to do it again on Tuesday, close to a record high on Wednesday, one last blast of this stuff on Thursday, and then that big ridge will finally break down on Thursday night into Friday. We're actually even talking about a little bit of rain. Temperatures are going to drop dramatically, and I mean in a big way. Think of that, from 74 today to 54 on Sunday, and the best part of all, rain. Long-awaited precipitation finally in the forecast on Friday night. We have about a 60% chance of rain on Friday night. I like that. That's it for us. We will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.